Hey, what's going on, everybody? And this is a very special interview. We haven't done an interview in a very long time. It's been years, actually, since the original podcast, since we have. But we have a very special guest from Talk Dodgers with Me podcast. I am welcoming Melissa Myers. How's it going?
Going great. How are you? Thanks so much for having me.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you being here. Yeah. So we met at the Claremont event at the Legends Attic a couple weeks ago.
Yes. Yes, at the Robert Ory Michael Cooper event, right?
Yeah,
hmm
that was a great evening. Great
I know
evening.
that was so much fun. It's been so amazing working with Oral Hershiser and his team at Legends Attic, which
Yeah.
is his sports memorabilia store.
Is that how you found out about the place?
Yeah, actually, so I started Talk Dodgers to Me last April,
hmm
and you know, as you're starting your own thing, I had no idea what I was doing in the beginning.
Yeah.
And, did some episodes and then wanted to start, branching out and
Yeah.
bringing people on and interviewing people. And I really shoot for the stars. So,
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute for this truck to drive by. Can you hear it?
Not really. Let me put my volume up.
Oh, okay, cool. But I had met Oral
hmm
maybe 7 years ago, when I was working at a restaurant in Beverly Hills.
Oh wow.
And he came in, and I already was a big Dodger fan, but meeting him really just like grew my love even more just because of how kind and genuine he was. He let me take him in the back to meet everybody in the kitchen because they're all
Oh
diehard Dodger fans. He let me wear
yeah.
his World Series ring and take a picture. So that was just, one of those moments that I was in awe of, just
Yeah.
that even happened. So it's just stuck in my mind for a while. And when I saw that he opened a memorabilia store, I called and I'm like, "Hi, my name is Melissa. I started a podcast. I met
Yeah.
Oral a couple years ago, and maybe he remembers me."
Yeah.
But I asked if I could come and check it out and maybe do an episode there, and that really started that relationship. And I've actually been at every single one of their events.
That's awesome.
Oral has been on the podcast 3 times so far.
hmm
And it's been a really great working relationship with them, and we'll continue to work together this year.
That's awesome. Yeah. I can't believe that place is so close to where I live because I live in Pomona, which is about
Oh,
like
wow.
15 minutes away
Nice, because
from
it's not close
Claremont.
to where I live.
Where do you live?
Santa Monica.
Okay, yeah, that's quite a bit of distance right there. But you're making your way out there, and that's dedication.
Absolutely.
So, what was the brainchild, I would say, for lack of a better term, for you starting your podcast?
Oh, it's so interesting because I get that question so much, but it's like there's so many answers I could give you. And I think I've even kind of learned why I started it now, like when you reflect back. Um, and I had just gotten back to LA after a really tough year. I lost two family members that were extremely close to me.
hmm
And one was my cousin Justin, who was
hmm
39 and just the best, the
Yeah.
biggest baseball fan. And I just admired him since I was a baby. He was like a senior in high school when I was a freshman. So
hmm
always very protective of me. But I come from a big family of baseball fans.
hmm
My dad was a diehard Phillies fan, and he was one of eight. So almost like all the kids grew up in this sports household, but kind of gravitated towards the team that was really good when they were born. So we've got Phillies fans, we've got Giants fans, we've got Mets fans, and then on my mom's side, we've got some Yankee fans.
Oh
So
man, dang! So there's some rivalries right there.
yeah, so everyone loves baseball,
Yeah.
and baseball has really been such a connection between just our family and the people we've lost.
hmm
So when I came back to LA, and I don't know if you've lost any family members, but I felt like a different person. And I
Yeah.
had been wanting to start a podcast for a while.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was going to be a baseball podcast, but I just felt like it was one of those moments where life is so short. You
Yeah.
really have to go after what you want. And
Right.
I had been talking about starting a podcast for a while, but I hadn't
Yeah.
done it.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those like, F it. I'm gonna do it. And I think like in my grief and sadness, I escape into baseball. Like when I'm sad, I watch Dodger highlights or Kobe highlights or
Yeah.
like I think I've watched Freddie Freeman's Grand Slam every single day since it happened. But
I
I was
love
just
watching it just because I love watching Nestor Cortez's reaction when he comes off the mound and his stupid
so
little
just
mustache, and I'm just like, I love
oh,
it.
we
And
gotta come back to him because him saying they were the better team, I
yeah, I
mean,
know. What is that?
said
That's
no
just
one.
ridiculous. Exactly.
But anyway, I came back and was just like kind of isolating myself. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was
Mm,
really just sad. And when I started kind of going out a little bit and being more social, I would just put on a Dodger hat or a Dodger shirt just because, like, that's the only thing I wanted to talk about or felt
yeah.
comfortable talking about.
Yeah.
Um, so I just felt like I was walking around talking Dodgers with anyone who would want to talk to me, hence,
Yeah.
talk Dodgers to me.
Right.
And honestly, that's how I started it. I saw there was a women in sports event at Dodger Stadium and I just bought a ticket and I thought,
Ooh.
I can't stop talking about the Dodgers. Why don't I do something with this? So I just
Yeah.
wanted to see what opportunities there were and
Mhm.
being around women full of passion for the Dodgers and them listening to me talk about it, they really were like, okay, you got to start a podcast or something. I
Yeah.
quickly got the Dodgers to me handle, and that
Absolutely.
really was
Yeah.
the beginning of it.
Absolutely. I think for me, because Lace 'em Up Sports has kind of seen its own iteration of what it's been. Now it's more
Mhm.
like I have sports media with we do a pro wrestling podcast, we do reels, I do like Lakers talk. But originally for me it was like, dude, I talk about sports all the time with my friends. Like all the time. Not only with my friends, with my dad, with my brother. Like it is constant. And so I was like, dude, I gotta put this into use here. And this is like yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is when like the boom of like podcasting started. I started in 2017. Now it's just like it's grown into like a whole nother universe. But I felt like this was the thing that I felt like was gonna be like an outlet for me.
Hmm.
And so kind of looking at it now, it's kind of taking twists and turns, but yeah, I feel like it's a really good outlet for people not just to let off steam about their team, but like really find like their niche into something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I kind of said as I reflect back and understand more of where I was and how this all got started, I'm the only Dodger fan in my family.
Oh my
So,
god.
yes, I
Yeah.
have this love of baseball and this connection with them, but they all hate the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So, what's been so special for me and what I always want to focus on is building community. And
Yeah.
there's such a shared passion with the Dodgers and baseball, and it really is more than baseball for almost everybody that I talk to.
Yeah.
So, connecting with fans, and we do fan episodes with the podcast, and we're going to do that even more this season. Being able to talk to someone and learn their story and why they became a baseball fan, why they love the Dodgers, um, that's like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
And just shining a light on these stories. It's really amazing. And I'll tell you, this Dodger community is something special.
It is crazy. I didn't go to any like playoff games, but I went to the parade. Going to the
Oh,
parade,
you went to the parade? Wow. Okay.
going to the
I
parade
went to the
was
Dodger Stadium celebration.
okay, that's good. That's smart because that was. I mean, it must have been hard to get in there, like harder than a game to get in there. But being in the community during the parade was an experience I have never experienced in my life. And
Wow. I'm so curious. Tell me about it.
I grew up watching the Lakers win 6 championships in my lifetime. And I have never went to a Lakers parade, but I had seen it on TV and I seen it on from the years and years and years. So I was like, okay, the Dodgers finally have one. We're gonna go. So we started in Pomona at the train station, and then I think this is about 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Train comes, packed like sardines. Packed. I
Wow.
mean, every train that's coming is literally people are hanging out. Like I can't believe this is because they're coming from like the San Bernardino area. I
Hmm.
can't even imagine what it's like people coming from like West LA, coming from, and you got to think this is like not just LA. This is like the entire landscape of Southern California coming
Hmm.
together in one spot. So you're
And everyone
having,
wearing blue.
yeah, it's a sea of blue. Um,
Love it.
Me and my friend actually, because so he was like, "Oh yeah, he took the train somewhere to go see a concert," and he goes, "Okay, there's one in like Monrovia that's like not as known." So we went there, and we were luckily we got on. But as we went, and we were kind of like sardines in the train as well. But as we went on, it was like more people were trying to come on as well, and we're like, "You can't come in here. This is like it's literally packed to the gills." Yeah,
Wow.
and just getting that's just the train alone. Just being in the community, I've never experienced anything like that. They said 2 million people, and I could believe 2 million people out
How
there.
was the actual parade? Like once you got out of the train, where were you standing and how
City Hall.
was it just like 2 minutes they pass and then that's kind of it for you?
Well, we were waiting for a while for them to start. We're at City Hall, and
Hmm.
people are like, I can't tell you how many "Let's Go Dodger" chants I heard for hours and hours and
How
hours.
about how many Freddie chants?
Yeah, Freddie, Mookie, yeah, Shohei, everybody. Yeah. So we're waiting for a while, and then they finally got started. They did the whole confetti thing, and we saw the fire trucks pass by, and we're like, okay, that's it. Let's go get some beers.
Wow. I
Yeah,
did hear Kike say, how quickly it went, and he wished that they got another round to go around,
yeah.
to do it again. Maybe
Hmm.
they will.
Maybe they will. They will in October. Yeah, exactly. They're gonna have another.
Well, it was fun when they finally came to Dodger Stadium because it felt like it took forever.
Yeah.
All those speeches. I mean, that's another day that I'll never forget. I've had so many of those days since starting the podcast now.
Hmm.
But, now with the podcast, I go to games and I want to post content and things like that. But I remember being at the celebration and thinking like, I'm putting my phone away. I just want to be a fan and watch my team and be with Dodger fans and celebrate this amazing moment because we won the World Series.
Yes. Exactly. I mean, this is the first. Is this the first World Series in your lifetime? I know. Sorry, you can't. I mean, you can count
I was
2020.
born in
Like,
88, so
okay, yeah. So this is the second. But really, the first. Because 2020 was great. Not gonna knock 2020.
no, you're not counting 2020?
No, I'm saying 2020 was great. I am counting 2020, but this was different. This was. I think this was a thousand
It
times.
was different, but 2020
2020
was
was
still a
great,
win.
but it was just like, oh man, like I'm celebrating in my house.
Right, right. We didn't get to celebrate with them.
Yes, this
So
was
yes, you're right about that.
yeah, this was a community thing. This was not just the team, the community, the city, like everybody. Like I can't like the Lakers used to have that magic. Like they still have that magic. I think back of like watching like the 2001, 2000 Lakers when they would win their championships and the whole community of outside LA would come together and it's a sea of purple and gold. That's what it was this past October. And
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
can't recreate those moments so many times, but we did. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it did a lot for the players too, because
Hmm.
yes, they won in 2020, but seeing all the fans show up
Hmm.
and, going through that parade, I think that really did give them another perspective of, who am I playing for?
Yeah.
Like seeing everyone show up to you and see
Yeah.
how much it means to, what'd you say, 2 million people?
Yeah.
Like that, I can only imagine that going into this season, that is going to give them an even greater, motivation to win.
Right.
At
Exactly.
least I hope so.
Because the fan base has just been so starved for. I mean, we're not gonna. I don't want to go through like the trials and tribulations of like the Dodgers of the last 10 years, but it's been rough. It has been
Mhm.
rough. We have been through it. You
Well,
know.
it's been rough for a very winning team.
Yes.
You know,
Yes,
we've been in the
exactly.
postseason for what, 13 seasons now?
Yeah.
And that's an amazing accomplishment on its own and says so much about our organization and the front office and all they do and the team culture.
hmm
But to have, this win, especially when everyone calls the 2020 like a Mickey Mouse ring or whatever,
Yeah, no.
it just
Yeah,
proved everyone wrong,
exactly.
especially with the team that we had, with all the
Exactly.
injuries. I mean, we were out of pitchers.
You're literally out of pitchers. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was scared if we didn't win that game, what was going to happen if we had to go back to LA.
I
But
was telling my yeah.
it was meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. I was telling a friend like, because he likes baseball, but he's not like into it as much, and so I was like, dude, like the way the Dodgers won the World Series, like we had like two bullpen games. That's like you can't win like that, and we did.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking, and I was pacing back and forth the entire time. Actually, when I was at a friend's house, and I'm kind of like, I want to watch alone,
hmm
or just like, but especially in a game like that, her TV goes out
Oh my god, that
when
is
Bueller walks out. I was trying to remain calm so I didn't like freak out because I was with a lot of people, but also like get the TV working, get the TV working. I
yeah,
got it on my phone, so I at least had it on
yeah,
my phone. But we
yeah.
ended up running to their next door neighbor's house
Oh,
and putting the game on there. So I missed Bueller's first at bat.
oh my god.
I was fuming.
Yeah, yeah. No, I can imagine too. That is weird. The weird bad luck. Weird bad luck.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, but got
Yeah,
to watch them win. And then as soon as the celebration started happening after we won, I just booked it home and
yeah.
rewatched it, and I'm like, I'm never watching a game with anyone ever again.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is crazy. I was dragged to Dick's Sporting Goods to get gear.
Really?
Yeah. My sister-in-law was like, "Come with me. We need to get like shirts and stuff." I was like, I don't really know if I want to go right now, but I did. Yeah.
Nice.
But that's yeah, that whole game 5. I remember watching so my family was watching it and then the whole 0-5 thing happened and they were like, we got it next game. So everyone kind of left. And I'm just kind of there. I'm like, I'm on my phone, I'm watching it, and then I'm like, oh shoot. Okay. Okay.
I
Yeah.
know. I know. But that, I feel like even just that game alone is such a good representation of our team.
Yeah.
And something different this year that I feel like I hadn't seen in years past. In years
Mhm.
past I almost felt like once they were down, the game was over.
Right.
But this season I saw them fight back like never before,
Yeah.
and that was so much fun to watch.
Yeah. So I did a kind of like a mockumentary or documentary on my YouTube channel about the Dodgers the last ten seasons called Almost a Dynasty. And so with that, I kind of highlighted the failures that we went through, like in the 2013 playoffs, 14 playoffs, 15, 16, just all these years that we had the team, and then for some reason or another, whether it be injuries or
Hmm.
like the McCourts and their whole ordeal back in the day, kind of like just bad luck on the team. For whatever reason, the team just could not get it done.
Yep.
And I was, this year, like it just none of that mattered. None of that
Hmm.
mattered. You know,
Well,
and
didn't you feel like the team was more bonded than
yeah,
you've ever seen them before? Even like hearing
absolutely.
Max Muncy talk about how
hmm
him and Mookie and some of the guys went to the front office and said, we're going to do things differently this year.
hmm
We're all going to ride together. We're going to watch the games together. We're going to hang out together. That was
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, exactly. I think us beating San Diego in Game 5 like that kind of put the reverse on all that bad energy. I think
Hmm.
once we got past San Diego, it was like, okay,
Hmm.
this team
Hmm.
can do it.
Remember we had like that 33 inning,
Yeah,
was it 33 scoreless innings or
yeah, going
20?
into the Met series. hmm
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, and then they broke it. I think Game 2 or something. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
That was really exciting though. Oh, that
exactly.
Padres series. I was screaming at the TV like
Oh
crazy.
man, I
But
was so mad.
again, I felt
Yeah,
like we rose above all
yeah,
that drama. Remember everything that happened? with the
dude.
fans
Game
and
two when
Machado
like
throwing the ball into the dugout.
yeah, yeah, though the tongue wagging and
Tatis,
everything. Yeah, Tatis, the tongue wagging and just the
when Mookie hit that homer in the same spot that
yes,
Tatis, that Profar had
mhm,
caught it and like mocked him the night
yeah,
before, like I feel like after that I'm like, yeah, we're winning.
we're winning
It
exactly.
just was like karma and
It
us
was
rising
karma.
above
It
how
was
they, their kind of antics.
yeah. Them beating us 2 years ago really caught up to them real quick.
Mm-hmm. Their World Series, as they call it.
Exactly, pretty much. But switching gears here, going back into your younger years, what is like your favorite sports memories as a child?
Ooh. Well, like growing up and just like what sports were always on at my house.
Hmm.
My dad had three TVs in our basement, so he could watch every game at once. He installed a urinal in our basement bathroom
This man is a
with like
genius.
a keg and all this stuff. So he had the ultimate man cave.
I need to see the blueprint for this man cave.
I didn't even know what a urinal was. I was like 6 years old. And, my dad had two daughters.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like the boys' world down there. And he had his spot on the couch that he sat in, and he's yelling at the TV like crazy. My grandparents would come over on Sundays for
Hmm.
football games, and my grandpa and my dad would be downstairs yelling nonsense at the TV. My mom and my little Italian grandma are like baking upstairs, also yelling at the TV. And like just those memories are just so like I just think back on them so fondly and just think like that's childhood to me. Just family,
Yeah.
being there, sports, barbecuing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about, really, you know? I think like sports is kind of like it's not like this in every family, but like sports is like a glue for bringing families together, you know?
Absolutely.
Families have dynamics of, of arguing and this, that, and the other, but when sports are involved and if they're all on one side, which I don't know, it sounds like your family is on this on different sides of teams now, but if it's all coming together, it's a beautiful thing,
Hmm.
you
Yeah, it
know?
really.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
like I grew up loving sports for that reason. My sister, she knows one Dodger player, and it's Will Smith because I mean his name is Will Smith. So we just went in such opposite directions with it. Like I really leaned in, and she appreciates it and she likes going to games with me,
Yeah.
but she's not really into it at all.
She's like, I'll be at the brewery. I'll
She
be at
likes
Golden
going to
Road.
the games for the chicken fingers.
Yeah, chicken fingers. Freaking $40 chicken fingers.
And she's in fashion, so she actually like looks at all my Dodger clothes and is like, "No, you can't wear this." So she'll cut it up, she'll crop like one of my jerseys,
Oh
she'll
my
add
god.
fringe to like a sweatshirt. So that's really fun and cool to have.
That's really fun. Nice. There you go. That's awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'll going back to your adulthood. What's been like your favorite games to watch as an adult now? As you being a Dodger fan.
Oh my gosh, there's so
I
many.
mean, I already know Game Five, but
What you mean like being at a game or just watching in
in
general?
general, yeah, watching in general.
Because I have like certain games that I really like to
Yeah.
watch the highlights of.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
do you remember one of the games? I feel like so many of them are against the Padres.
Mm.
Because like when I moved to LA, it was 2011. And
Hmm.
so that's kind of when I really
Yeah.
started to love the team.
Yeah. That
Um,
was like the start of
and
Kershaw's.
yes, exactly. I mean, he is my heart. I love him
Yes.
so much.
Yeah.
He's truly why I am a Dodger fan.
Hmm.
Um, and actually, the producer of my podcast, who hates the Dodgers, Adam,
That's crazy.
makes fun of Kershaw all the time. And if you listen to the podcast, we that is like the number one thing we fight about. He
Oh my
makes fun of
god.
Kershaw, saying he's going to get wheeled out to the mound, and like nothing pisses me off more than anyone
Man,
saying
get out of
anything
here.
negative about Clayton Kershaw.
Get out of here. He's the goat. He's the goat.
Yeah, I know. I
He's
know. Anyway, back to favorite games. Okay, so I mean, CT3 Grand, that hit that we won is one I watch often.
yeah.
That wild card game,
Oh my
that's an
god.
epic one.
Yeah.
that never gets old. But there was a game against the Padres when we had Scherzer and Trey Turner on the team.
Okay. Yeah.
And Scherzer was pitching, and we quickly got up 5-0
Uh-huh.
and then started going downhill. And
Yeah.
remember Gavin Lux missed a ball and he went into the wall, and then they created the outline for him the
Yeah,
next
yeah. It
day?
was like, yeah, yeah, I remember that.
So it was that game.
Okay.
And the Padres ended up, the score was like 9-5, and we were down.
Oh wow, yeah.
So
Mhm.
then we start going up, and it was like 5 home runs in a row. It was unbelievable. It
Yeah.
was Nelly. It was AJ
Hmm.
Pollock. I think he hit 2 home runs that game. I love AJ
Hmm.
Pollock. Miss him.
Yeah.
Muncy hit a homer. And then Corey Seager comes up and hits a 2-run homer, and we end up winning the game. And that is one of my favorites to watch.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable
And
game.
then another one I love watching is, remember when we scored 11 in the first inning against the Braves?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That was a
That was
really fun one, and
that was
I
a
love that team too.
yeah. That was what, 2017?
No, no,
Oh.
no, like 2021 maybe.
Oh, wow, my years are getting ahead of
Or
me.
no, that was 2020.
2020?
Yeah,
Okay. Had
I
to
think
be
so.
no people in the audience then. I had to go back.
I think it was 2020 actually.
Okay. If you go back and watch
I
it,
feel like there weren't fans in
yeah,
the
okay.
stands that one.
Yeah, but I do remember that. I remember
Yeah.
it just being like, well, this
It
this
was just like
escalated real quick.
one after the other. I
Yeah.
almost felt bad for them. So
Hmm.
that those are like highlights I love watching. I
Yeah.
mean, remember when we scored 22 runs against the Diamondbacks? We had
Yeah.
Albert Pujols on our team at the
Yeah.
time.
Hmm.
I love watching our team just crush it.
Exactly. No,
It's
definitely
instant
dominance.
joy.
Just dominance. Exactly. Yeah.
This season, remember Teo at Yankee Stadium?
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh my God.
I mean, I could keep going, so just stop me.
No, no, you keep going all you want. Exactly. Yeah, those dominant performances that you could just they're are just timeless. And
Shohei's 50-50. I mean,
exactly.
that will never get old to watch.
Yeah. Exactly. I love the memes that came after it. Where just like it's like a regular at bat, and then what's his name? The Dodgers announcer Joe.
This,
Yeah,
Joe
and he
Davis.
just like he's going Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, after just like a regular at bat.
I
That
could
can,
hear it. I could hear it in my head.
yeah, exactly.
There's so many. I mean, we have like the fortune to watch this incredible team. So
Yeah.
it's almost like you just watch, and something amazing is going to happen every single time.
Exactly. We're living in such a period where it's really amazing how the Dodgers have just taken over the landscape of sports. Like, because I grew up, I really started watching baseball 2002 ish, 2003 ish, and that was a time where the Angels were top dog around
Okay.
here.
Okay.
And
Mm-hmm.
so the Angels had just won the World Series, and then they were in the playoffs like every single year. And the Dodgers, I remember just like being a Dodger fan and just like, this is not cool. Like the Angels, like I'm not even from OC. Like I don't care about them. Like
Yeah.
my friends were all Dodger fans. And it was kind of like the gritty thing to be like a Dodger fan. You know?
Really?
Yeah, it was a
Okay.
very gritty thing. Like I look at like the Oakland A's now, and I'm like, that used to be us.
No way.
Yeah, because you would get made fun of for being a Dodger fan, like because all the Angel fans were so cocky because they had the best team back then,
Okay.
and
Okay.
the Dodgers didn't make the playoffs for like forever. I think they made the playoffs in like '06, and then from like '06 to like oh no okay, so then we got in 2008 we traded for Manny Ramirez. And then
Mm-hmm.
we had a really decent squad. We had Andre Ethier, we had Matt Kemp, and then we made it to the NLCS like 2 years in a row. And that was like the first time I was like, hell yeah, let's go. This is our team now. And then like they kind of slowly got rid of those guys, and then it was back to being like kind of shitty. And then so that's when the rise of Kershaw started. So then it's amazing to see the transformation of this team that
Yeah.
really was just
Totally.
like a gritty team. Like like people obviously showed up to Dodgers games, but it's not the way it is now. You know.
Mm-hmm.
and for the better, obviously.
I
Uh,
mean, now I feel like we've separated ourselves so much that you either love or hate the Dodgers.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. We are that team now. Hmm.
Hmm.
That's
Fine by
it's
me.
exactly. How was your trip to spring training?
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. That actually was my first spring training that I've ever been
Nice.
to.
Yeah.
So I can't say enough about how much fun I had. Just
Hmm.
the like more casual aspect of it. We're watching them at the practice field and you're just right there with them,
Yeah.
um, watching them hit and just walking around the stadium. It got me so excited. I mean, Adam, our producer, he's a Cubs fan, so the Cubs play very close to where the Dodgers play. He
Hmm.
went to a Cubs game for $11, and all of our games were $100 plus.
Oh
So
God.
that says anything. But
Yeah.
even like there on Sunday, there were two games happening, and we're looking at the lineups.
Hmm.
Both are incredible. So it's
Yeah.
so hard to choose. It was like Freddie, Mookie, Shohei,
Yeah.
on one side, and just like Yamamoto and this Tyler Glass now was pitching in one of the games. We went to that one.
Hmm.
It was so much fun, and just I'm also going and talking about the podcast and want more people to learn about it and making
Yeah.
friends and talking to fans, and
Yeah.
it it was so much fun.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I've never been to spring
Also,
training.
I have to say that everyone that was working there, all
Hmm.
the employees or volunteers, had the biggest smile on their faces. They were in the greatest mood. Like everyone was
Yeah.
just having a great time. So
Yeah.
great vibes all around.
Oh, that's awesome. You won't get that at the stadium.
Mm-mm,
Dodger Stadium. Yeah.
not as much.
No, exactly. That's awesome. I've never been to spring training. I came close in 2020, and then
You
we.
gotta go.
Yeah, I know. I have to
Ran
go.
into Stan Kasdan the first day.
Really?
He was so nice. He
Yeah.
honestly the nicest guy. I had met him at the Women in Sports event that I
Mhm.
mentioned,
Yeah.
and that was one of those moments where like I knew if I didn't say hi to him, I would regret it. And
Yeah.
and I'm just someone that like I will not have any regrets because the overthinking that it will do to me is worse. So I just pushed myself and I went and said hi and introduced myself. And there was just so much going on that day that I didn't really get to talk to him that much.
Hmm.
So I saw him and I was with my friend Jacqueline. I'm like, all right, we got to say hi to Stan. So we're like going after him and trying to be like calm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I told him about the podcast. I told him we're actually getting sponsored to go to Tokyo. So I'm so happy about that. That's next week.
Yeah.
And just chatting with him for 10 minutes, he
Nice.
was so inquisitive and asking questions and asking
Yeah.
Jacqueline, my friend, who has a boutique called Soul Boutique. She sells like game day outfits.
Yeah.
Uh, and we gave him like our cards, and he's like, "Oh, I don't have any of my business cards on me. I'm so sorry." And he walked away. And then like 2 minutes later, he comes running back and he's like, "Girls, I have one left. Here,
Oh
keep in touch."
wow.
It was just like it just
That's
speaks
amazing.
volumes of
Yeah.
of our front office, how much they care, and when they talk about how much they care about the fans and giving back to the fans. I
Yeah.
mean, it's moments like that that I really believe that.
Yeah.
And then a
Exactly.
group of kids comes up and is talking to him and he's so happy to do it. It's not an
Yeah.
annoyance or anything like that. So
Yeah.
I that's another great cool moment
Exactly.
that I won't
Because
forget.
yeah, in the end, he doesn't have to be there, and the fact that he is there, and the fact that he is so, just being so personable with people, that shows a lot about his character and the Dodgers front office.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Dang, you're going to Tokyo. I'm jealous.
Yes, I know. I'm so excited.
That's insane. Yeah. So like, what do you like? What do you got planned out there besides baseball?
So we're gonna record the podcast from there.
Hmm.
We're gonna go to both games,
Hmm.
and I'm excited for so much, but I feel like mostly to experience the baseball culture in
Yeah.
Japan
Yeah.
because it's from what I hear, it's bigger there than it is here. Shohei is such a superstar there, and now we have Yamamoto
Yeah.
and Roki and all
Yeah.
these amazing Kim, all these amazing players that I just can't wait to see how the fans react and
Yeah.
just to be amongst them all and
Hmm.
just take it in and just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Different
I've never
culture.
been there.
Yeah,
I can't wait to
exactly.
eat fresh sushi there.
Absolutely.
But also on the podcast last year, we talked about it all the time of how we want to go. And I was manifesting this. I put it in my calendar a year ago that I'm going to find a way to get there. I don't know how,
Yeah.
but I'm going to make it happen. And the fact that we made it happen, I'm very, very proud.
Yeah. It's something to be proud of. I mean, you have built
Thank you.
a mini empire with this, talk Dodgers to me. I love like your sound
Stay
effects.
tuned. I got big plans.
Exactly. I love your sound effects on it too. Talk Dodgers. Like it's so
Oh, you
simple.
like that? I
Yeah.
had a friend of mine create that with me for
Okay.
our theme song.
Yeah. Nice. I love it. I love it. I love the intuitivity of like um kind of like because I didn't know anything about sound engineering or like I use Audacity. I use basically every kind of platform that there is to create. But learning something and just kind of like putting your mind into it, learning from scratch. It's something that it's yeah. I feel like it's really cool.
Yeah, and I'm sure, like every single part of creating a podcast, I've had to learn. I didn't really know social media that well, and I do all our social media. So, taking clips from the podcast and turning them into reels, like that was new for me, and
Hmm.
keeping up with it and the consistency.
Yeah.
Also learning how to edit an episode. And I mean, watching myself back was not,
Right.
still is not my favorite thing to do, but I almost watch with different eyes now that
Yeah.
we're 3 episodes in.
Hmm.
But in the beginning, I was just cringing and just, but also knowing that all I can do is learn. All I can do is
Right.
get better. So each
Right.
episode, I'm going to get better, and I'm going to not say or like or things that make me personally cringe.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
also giving myself grace to just continue to get better and learn.
Hmm. And if it's also like you have to be okay with making those mistakes too. Okay, we lost signal.
Part two.
AKA I wasn't paying attention to the time and the Zoom cut out. But we're back. We're back. What were we talking about? Podcasting?
Podcast, how to do
How to
it.
do it. Yeah. I think where I left off was you have like for me, I have to be okay with the mistakes because if
Hmm.
I dwell too much on if I skip a word or if I stumble or if I lose train of thought, which happens a lot, um, I
Same.
one I can edit it out, and two, and if I can't edit it out, then it's meant to be.
Yeah. It
You know?
also, I don't know about you, but I've learned what I like for my podcast is having it be a bit more casual. I like to start just very casual conversation. And also, we really don't edit a lot because when I listen to podcasts, I like the kind of behind the scenes aspect of it. I want to hear like the funny conversation going on before you're meant to press record and what you
Hmm.
catch. Like I think it just kind of humanizes everything and I don't know, it makes you feel like you're in the room with them.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. No, it's just it's something like I mentioned to you before, like I press record, like this is like Talk Dodgers is your baby,
Hmm.
you know?
It really is. And I'm so proud of it and I'm so, my focus is really on the people listening and I'm one of them. This is a podcast from the fans' perspective
Mm.
and I feel like I am representing the fans. So I feel like
Mhm.
what I would want is what they would want. So it's
Yeah,
like what exciting guest can I get on? Who can I reach out to? Who's going to answer my message? Uh,
exactly. That's a big one.
what
Yeah.
what cool thing can I share? So that's really the most important thing to me is just continuing to build this community
Hmm.
and shining light on different Dodger fan stories and bringing them into what we're doing. I really
Yeah.
love doing that. But I was going to tell you this story.
Hmm.
So I went to Jaime Jarrin's golf tournament this year,
Okay.
a couple weeks
Wow.
ago, and
Yeah.
that was so much fun.
Yeah.
Um, probably my favorite part of that day was sitting and chatting with him, with Jaime, for like 20 minutes at a table while people were playing golf. And it was me, my friend Jacqueline, who I mentioned before,
Hmm.
and his grandson, Stefan. And just listening to Jaime talk about how he started, he didn't know anything about baseball when he
What?
first started. I had
Ooh.
no idea about that. And then he's talking about, last year Fernando was there and just feeling his presence missed so much.
Yeah.
The stories of Vin calling him when they're in different cities at hotels. Hey, would you like to meet me in the lobby for dinner?
Oh my gosh.
Just, I feel like I was just hanging on to every word he was saying and just felt so honored to be there and to be talking
Yeah.
to him. And then being at that event, that happened to be the night of Luca's first game with the Lakers.
Oh no
So
way.
we're there and we end up getting tickets to go to the game. So we
Yeah.
leave Jaime's event full of Dodger fans and
Yeah.
still getting used to getting invited to these things
Yeah.
and not just being like a fan and trying to like play it cool and
Like, oh yeah, exactly.
no, Nomar is over here
Yeah. Hmm.
and Jerry Harrison Jr. is over here and
Oh my
like that's
gosh.
just so exciting. But then we go to the Laker game and we're watching Luca and that it just was like a day out of an LA fan's dream.
Absolutely. That was a crazy, crazy day, crazy moment.
Hmm.
Um, and me being a Laker fan, I've been very spoiled having great, great moments in my life. But Luka's first game and just the day he got traded to the Lakers. Oh my gosh, that's something I'll never forget.
I know. I
Yeah.
still wonder exactly what the Mavs were thinking.
I
It seems like the talk started with
yeah,
AD,
it did. It did start with AD.
but now thinking
Yeah.
about I listened to an interview with Jeannie Buss, and
Mhm.
Kobe means so much to the Lakers organization
Mhm.
forever.
Forever. Hmm.
I think it was his last game with Gigi. Luca was Gigi's favorite player. They had
Yeah.
that handshake and he went to watch him. So it almost was like that was such a moment that stuck in Jeannie's
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
So to kind of create the space to bring in Luca and make him, eventually the face of the Lakers and kind of to have Kobe's blessing in a way
Yeah,
is really
absolutely.
cool.
It's really cool. So from that game,
Hmm.
they actually created a statue outside Crypto.com Arena, formerly Staples Center. I'll always call it
Yep.
Staples Center.
I
Uh,
went and visited it.
yeah, but from that game, they created that statue from that moment of Kobe having his arm around Gigi.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's from
I
the game that,
still, I still can't believe it. It's still so heartbreaking.
yeah,
But I did visit the statue when I was there.
yeah. Kobe's undoubtedly my favorite player of all time.
Me
Um,
too.
you know, his passing had such an effect on my family and just knowing what he meant to myself and my brother and my dad and not just us but the entire community like I said before, the Dodger community coming out for the Dodger
Hmm.
parade, it was like that for when Kobe passed away,
Yeah, I went
honestly.
to Staples Center. Did you? I went
Yeah.
and visited when
Hmm.
everyone was, bringing flowers.
Yeah.
They're signing basketballs everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another, like, I'll look at those videos on my phone once in a while.
Hmm. I created something from that day, so I'll send it to you.
Oh, okay. It
Yeah.
almost was like a little reminiscent of how the city feels after the fires
Yeah.
and just coming together in a way that has been really
Hmm.
refreshing and
Yeah.
beautiful.
Very cathartic. Very cathartic. Through my job, I work for LA County DMH, and so we were able to go to the Pasadena shelter, and I was volunteering there for about 5 weeks, 5 or
Oh,
6 weeks.
wow.
Yeah, and so yeah, just seeing that the outpouring of people, and just seeing being there with people that suffered tragedy. Can't I can never think of what they're going through, what they had gone through, what they're still going through. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it was just it was a lot of just time to reflect on what you have.
Yeah, it really, really was. And I didn't feel right about starting season 2 of the podcast without addressing the fires.
Mhm.
And actually, one of the guys, Jose, who came on
Yeah.
a fan episode, and we just connected so much.
Hmm.
He lost everything.
That's yeah.
In the Eaton fire, he lived in
Hmm.
Altadena, and he came on the podcast and shared his story. And, you know, we hear such negativity from the news and
Mm.
all the social media
Yeah.
platforms that it was really a beautiful thing to hear how much generosity he received,
Yeah.
the people that stepped up
Yeah.
to help him, and just his positive spirit through it all
Yeah. I
was
listened to his
a
stuff.
really, really beautiful thing, and
Yeah.
an episode I feel really proud of.
Yeah, absolutely. You did an amazing job at, just conducting that interview, and him himself, like I couldn't be as cheerful or, as positive as he was losing everything like that. And that just shows you.
Thank you. It was so hard to not start crying the entire time. I really
Yeah.
tried to hold it in as much as I
Yeah,
could,
absolutely.
but
I mean, yeah.
um,
Yeah, for sure. Just listening to it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this guy, he's a blessing coming in, just hearing his positive attitude about things, when at a time where you most justified could be angry at the world, you know.
yep. And
And
even just hearing him, there was one part where he talked about how, he knew his neighbors on like a hi, how are you basis, but how bonded they are now and how much they're all helping each other with certain things. He's like, I love my neighbors now. And just that sense of community is so beautiful, especially in this city that is really tough and also
yeah.
really tough to trust people.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. And that's just how like we're kind of guarded growing up, like we're made like that. Like you don't trust anybody. Everyone's out to not out to get you, but like, everyone has an ulterior
Well,
motive.
it's like, how can I benefit from you? And I
Exactly.
feel that a lot in LA. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, a shout out Jose for the
Yeah.
bravery to tell his whole story on the podcast.
Yeah. So
It
soon
was
too. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely.
But he's doing well.
That's great. Yeah. That's good. Hopefully his whole family's doing well and his mom in Mexico.
Hmm. Yes. Oh, I love that you listened to it. Thanks for listening.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, but yeah, no, yeah, this has been great. I love the conversation we've had today. It's been good talking about family and sports and this, that, and the other. Yeah, we should do this again sometime, you know. Uh,
Anytime. I could talk Dodger baseball all day long.
exactly. Maybe next time we'll go more into the stats of the beginning of the season, but yeah.
Ooh,
Hmm.
okay. Well,
Exactly.
thank you for having me and good luck with everything and keep in
Thank you.
touch.
Absolutely. You too. Appreciate you.
All right. You
Thank you.
too.
Bye.
Bye.